Just sign it, Hannah. You knew this was coming. David handed me divorce papers in front of 40 people at his family's Christmas party. My hands shook as I picked up the pen. Mascara ran down my face. Someone behind me laughed. I heard the words charity case whispered near the fireplace. Christmas music played through hidden speakers while I signed my marriage away. I thought that was the worst night of my life. I had no idea it was actually the beginning of everything. My name is Hannah. I'm 29 years old, and I spent 6 years married to a man whose family never thought I was good enough. I grew up with just my mom in a 2-bedroom apartment. Dad wasn't in the picture. Mom always said he left before I was born, and we didn't talk about it after that. Money was tight. I wore thrift store jeans and studied hard because I knew education was my only way out. I became an elementary school teacher. I loved it. Loved my kids. Loved watching them light up when something finally clicked. But the salary? Let's just say modest. I made $45,000 a year teaching second grade. I met David when I was 23 at a friend's birthday party. He was charming, confident. He didn't talk about money that night, so I didn't know. Didn't know his family owned half the real estate downtown. Didn't know what I was walking into. His family tolerated me at first. Tight smiles, careful compliments that felt like insults. Oh, how wonderful that you work with children. That must be so fulfilling. Like fulfilling was code for poor. I tried everything. Bought the right dresses on my teacher budget, smiled through their condescending comments at dinner parties, volunteered at their charity galas. I watched myself shrink year by year, started apologizing for things that weren't my fault, stopped voicing opinions. David grew colder, worked late, stopped touching me, started looking at me like I was something he'd outgrown. I wasn't flashy, wasn't connected, just a teacher who believed love was supposed to be enough. I didn't have their country club membership or their designer everything, but I had something they didn't see coming. If you've ever been made to feel small by people who think money makes them better, hit subscribe right now and drop where you're watching from in the comments. I read every single one. December 23rd. David's family throws this huge Christmas party every year at their estate. Marble floors, champagne towers, a string quartet in the corner playing classical versions of Christmas songs. I wore a simple green dress, nothing designer, but I thought I looked nice. David barely looked at me when I arrived. His mother, Patricia, gave me this tight smile. "Oh, you came." Like she was surprised, like I wasn't still married to her son. I tried to blend in, stood near the fireplace, sipped champagne I didn't really want, smiled at people who didn't smile back. Halfway through the night, David walked over. I thought maybe he was finally going to talk to me, acknowledge me. Instead, he pulled me aside near a group of his cousins and their husbands, handed me a manila envelope. I stared at it. "What's this?" "I'm filing for divorce," he said. Flat, emotionless. "My lawyer said it's easier if you just sign tonight." Everything stopped. The music, the conversations, everything. "David, what?" My voice cracked. "Can we talk about this in private?" Patricia appeared beside him like she'd been waiting for her cue. "Sweetheart, you've been sweet, but let's be honest." She touched my arm. "You two were never a real match." One of David's aunts nodded. "You'll be fine, Hannah. You're still young. You can go back to teaching." The way she said teaching. Like it was cute, like it was nothing. People were staring now. Some pretended not to listen, but I saw them glance over, saw the pity, the judgment. "Just sign it," David said, impatient now. "I'm not making this difficult for you. You'll get something small to help you start over." My hands trembled as I opened the envelope. Legal papers, already filled out, already decided. I felt trapped. My throat closed up. I couldn't breathe. A waiter appeared out of nowhere and offered me a pen. That was the moment I broke. I signed, tears streaming, mascara smudging the pages, my signature barely legible. David took the papers, nodded curtly. Thank you. My lawyer will be in touch. Patricia squeezed my shoulder, fake sympathy dripping from her voice. You'll understand someday, dear. This is for the best. I stumbled toward the door, vision blurred, chest tight. Near the entrance, I passed two people talking in low voices. One of them, a younger guy in a suit, said something I didn't quite catch. Isn't that the woman whose father just died? The one in the news? But I didn't hear him. I just wanted to leave. 2 days after Christmas, I got an email. Not even a phone call. An email. From David's lawyer. Given the short duration of the marriage and your independent income, we are offering a clean break settlement of $50,000. No alimony, no shared assets. This is a generous offer. Generous. 6 years of my life. 6 years of shrinking myself. $50,000. I lived in a one-bedroom rental now. David kept the penthouse we'd shared. Kept everything. I called him. He didn't answer. He texted back an hour later. Let the lawyers handle it. That was it. I called my mom crying. I thought she'd be on my side. Honestly, Hannah, she said, sighing, you should have seen this coming. You were always out of your league. Even my own mother. I felt erased, invisible, like 6 years meant absolutely nothing. A week later, my friend Jess convinced me to go to a New Year's charity brunch. She thought it would help. Thought I needed to get out. Patricia was there, hosting. She saw me across the room and walked over with a group of society women, all silk scarves and expensive perfume. Oh, Hannah, she said, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. How brave of you to still come to these things. I suppose teaching doesn't fill your social calendar. The women with her smiled, polite, poisonous. One of them tilted her head. Are you managing okay financially, dear? There are some wonderful assistance programs if you need help. My cheeks burned. I excused myself, walked to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall and cried. 2 women came in while I was still there. Didn't know I was listening. She was always so plain, one of them said. I'm amazed it lasted 6 years. David's too kind, the other replied. He should have ended it years ago. I stayed in that stall until they left. Mid-January, I made the mistake of looking at David's Instagram. He'd posted photos, lots of them, with a woman named Isabel, blonde, stunning, a fashion PR exec according to her bio. The comments were full of congratulations. Finally, someone wrote, you two are perfect together. I scrolled back. The photos were dated weeks ago, some even earlier. This wasn't new. A mutual acquaintance messaged me that night. Just so you know, everyone knew about Isabel. David said you were holding him back. Holding him back. I stopped eating, stopped sleeping, called in sick to work 3 days in a row. I felt like I was drowning. But somewhere, deep down, a spark of anger started to grow. Late January, I got a certified letter from a law firm I'd never heard of, Whitmore and Associates, Estate Law. I opened it standing in my apartment kitchen. Regarding the estate of Jonathan Edward Whitmore, deceased. Your presence is required for a reading of the will. I read it twice. 3 times. My mom told me my father's name was John. That's all she ever said. I didn't even know his last name. I called her, hands shaking. Mom, did you know someone named Jonathan Whitmore? Silence. I don't know anything about this, Hannah. Her voice sounded strange, evasive. Just ignore it. But I couldn't. The letter mentioned a significant inheritance matter. I Googled Jonathan Edward Whitmore, and my hands went numb. Headlines filled my screen. Billionaire tech pioneer Jonathan Whitmore dies at 68. Reclusive innovator leaves $2.3 billion empire. I clicked on one. A photo loaded. Silver hair, kind eyes. I saw my face in his features, my nose, my smile. This man was my father, and he was a billionaire. The article said he had no known children, lived privately, never married, but he'd known about me. What they didn't know, what even I didn't know, was that my father had been watching me my whole life, and he'd left me everything. I booked an appointment with Whitmore and Associates for the next day, told no one. I felt grief for a father I never knew, and disbelief. This couldn't be real. The law office was downtown, sleek, quiet. A woman met me in the lobby, Margaret Chen, senior partner, warm smile, professional. She led me to a conference room and closed the door. Hannah, she said gently, I know this. I must be overwhelming. I don't understand, I whispered. Why didn't he? Jonathan knew about you, Margaret said. He supported you anonymously. Scholarships, small grants your mother probably never explained. I remembered those. Random checks that showed up when we needed them most. Mom always said they were from a charity. He never reached out directly because of an agreement with your mother, but he watched you from afar, and in his will, he left you his entire estate. I stared at her. How much? 2.3 billion in assets, company shares, properties, trusts. The room tilted. You're one of the wealthiest women in the country now, Hannah, Margaret said softly. This will change everything. I couldn't process the numbers, couldn't wrap my mind around it. Can we keep this confidential? I asked. I need time. Of course. Margaret became more than my lawyer. She became my ally. Meanwhile, David's lawyer sent another email. Final offer, $50,000. Sign by February 15th, or we reduce it to $20,000. David texted me, first time in weeks. Stop dragging this out. You're not getting more. Patricia left a voicemail. Sweet venom. Hannah, dear, don't be greedy. Take what's offered and move on with dignity. I sat in Margaret's office and played the voicemail on speaker. We can handle the divorce settlement quietly, Margaret said. Or you can let them play their hand first. I thought about it, about the Christmas party, the divorce papers, the humiliation. I want to wait, I said. I want to see exactly who they are. Margaret smiled. Through a mutual friend, I heard David was planning to propose to Isabel with the money he was saving from the divorce. Patricia bragged at a luncheon that they'd got the gold digger to sign away her claim for almost nothing. Gold digger. I scheduled the final settlement meeting for February 14th, Valentine's Day, poetic. The meeting was held at David's family lawyer's office, a private conference room. Just us, David, Patricia, their lawyer, Richard, me, and Margaret. David looked annoyed that I'd brought a lawyer at all. Patricia sighed like this was all so tedious. Richard opened a folder. We're here to finalize the settlement. Mrs. Carter, you'll receive $50,000 as discussed. He slid papers across the table. I looked at them calmly. Didn't touch the pen. Come on, Hannah, David snapped. We've been more than fair. Patricia nodded. Honestly, dear, you should be grateful. You contributed nothing to this marriage financially. I took a slow breath. Looked at Margaret. She nodded. I'm not signing, I said clearly. David's face flushed red. Are you serious? You think you can hold out for more? You were a teacher making $45,000 a year. Richard leaned forward. If you refuse, we'll take this to court, and you'll get far less. I smiled. Not mean, just calm. I don't need your $50,000. Patricia scoffed. Oh, please, what are you going to do, live off credit cards? Margaret spoke for the first time. Actually, my client recently inherited an estate valued at $2.3 billion. Silence. Complete silence. David's mouth opened. Patricia's face went white. Richard stammered. I'm sorry. What? Margaret slid a folder across the table. Documentation, estate papers, Jonathan Whitmore's will. My name listed as sole heir. David grabbed the papers, scanned them frantically. This can't be real. My father passed away 2 months ago, I said steadily. I didn't know he existed until last month. Turns out he built one of the largest tech companies in the country. Patricia's shock twisted into fury. You lied to us. I didn't lie. I cut her off. I didn't know. You never asked about my father. You just assumed I came from nothing and treated me like I was worthless because of it. David's face shifted. Shock, regret, anger. Hannah, wait. Let's not be hasty here. I stood up. I signed your divorce papers on the worst night of my life because I thought I had no choice. Turns out I have more choices than you'll ever have again. Patricia tried to recover. We never meant you were always part of the family. I looked at her. You called me a charity case at your Christmas party. You told me I contributed nothing. You're right about one thing. I am grateful. I'm grateful I get to walk away from all of you. Richard cleared his throat. Perhaps we can renegotiate the terms. Margaret shut him down. The divorce stands as signed. My client wants nothing from your family. This meeting is over. I walked to the door. David followed me. Hannah, please, we can talk about this. I turned, my voice soft, final. You made me sign divorce papers in front of everyone you knew. You humiliated me because you thought I was powerless. You were wrong. I left. The door clicked shut behind me. 3 months later, I started a foundation for underfunded schools. Put $50 million into teacher salaries and classroom resources. I quit my old teaching job but volunteered twice a week. I missed the kids. I bought a beautiful townhouse. Nothing flashy. I wasn't trying to prove anything. Margaret became more than my advisor. She became a real friend. I reconnected with my mom, had honest conversations about my father for the first time. It was complicated, but honest. I read Jonathan's journals, looked at photos, grieved the relationship we never had. I heard through mutual friends that David and Isabel broke up. Apparently, he became difficult after the settlement meeting. Patricia tried to reach out once, an email. I deleted it without reading. I didn't feel triumphant, didn't feel vengeful. I felt free. One evening, I was sitting at a quiet cafe near my new place, reading, drinking tea. I saw Patricia across the street getting into a car. Our eyes met for a split second. She looked away first, and I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just peace. For once, their silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. I finally understood that I never needed their approval. I just needed my own. If this story hit home for you, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button right now. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated by someone who thought they were better than you? How did you prove them wrong? I'm reading every single comment, and I want to hear your story. And if you're watching from somewhere in the world where you're fighting to be seen, to be valued, I see you. Your worth isn't defined by anyone else's opinion. Drop your location below. I love knowing where you all are. Let's build a community of people who know their value. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.